Woo! Going on, guys? Arms Form coming at you guys today with another video. And today's video, man, I'm going to continue with the camp battle series. I'm going to still stay on the defensive side of the football. I'm going to stick with the defense, like I said, but today I'm going to talk about a little bit with these camp battles coming up. I want to talk about defensive ends, ROMEO OKWARA versus Josh PASCHAL. Now you're probably sitting there going, "Well, how would this be a camp battle?" And I'll tell you, I know we've kind of switched up our defense this year. It's going to be more of a 4-2-5 scheme. Mostly, it's not just we're just not going to do that for the whole season. You have to mix and match it. Obviously, we're going to do different schemes, different stunts, different things all around the defensive line and in the linebacker and the secondary room. But 4-2-5, if you don't know what that is, obviously it's four down linemen, 2 linebackers, and then 5 defensive backs. Now it could be like 3 corners, 2 safeties. Could be 3 safeties, 2 corners. It could be another linebacker thrown in there. It could be 3 linebackers, and it could be 2 defensive backs somehow. You got guys like Malcolm Rodriguez who could be that guy coming off. Could be a Chris Board who's got some coverage ability. I think that if you're going to put a linebacker in that scheme, it's going to be a guy that's going to be able to cover wide receivers / running backs, tight ends. We don't really want linebackers on wide receivers, but you guys, you know what I'm getting at. But I think with our defensive scheme, with the four down linemen, I think our number 1 and number 2 guys, and personally I think this is what it is. Aiden Hutchinson, I think, is going to win that spot. He's the number 2 overall pick for Michigan. Had a really great year in the Big Ten. I think he's going to win that defensive end spot, and I think his bookend partner is going to be Charles Harris. Charles Harris last year came, kind of busted out in Miami. Didn't really do anything in Miami. Was a first-round pick a few years back. Didn't really do a whole hell of a lot there. Went to Atlanta, didn't do much at all there, but has some ability to pressure the quarterback, get to the quarterback. We signed him last year, and he arguably had his best season as an NFL player. So good that the Detroit Lions signed him to a new deal, and he's here for the next few years. So Charles Harris isn't really going anywhere. I think that's going to be our 1 and 2 with Hutchinson and Charles Harris. Now, I really like to go to ourlads.com. I know it's not the official website for the Detroit Lions, and it's not an official depth chart, but I think they're really, really good on their depth charts. It's just my opinion. It changes all the time, but as of right now, they have Hutch and Harris as the 1 and 2 guys, and right now I kind of agree. And then they got ROMEO backing up Hutchinson, and they have PASCHAL backing up ROMEO. Now I think that is a possibility, but I like the matchup here. I like the camp battle that's going to happen here. Now, we already know what our defensive ends look like. You got Hutchinson, Charles Harris, you got Joshua PASCHAL, then you got Julian Okwara as well, ROMEO OKWARA, John Kaminsky, who they picked up. He was a defensive end, played for Atlanta for a few years. Not going to be a guy that's going to wow you in the stat department, but he's a bigger dude that can play the run and maybe create a little bit of pressure, but he's not really a pressure guy. He's not a quarterback sack guy whatsoever. And then they drafted guys like James Houston, the kid out of Jackson State, who had an insane amount of sacks his last year in college. Smaller school, smaller defensive end, very small, like 6'1", 240. Don't really know where they're going to do with him. They're going to put him at linebacker. They're going to put him at defensive end. He did play some defensive end in these rookie mini camps, and not really the rookie mini camps, but the mini camps that we had and some of the OTAs that the Lions had a few weeks back. So that's a guy to look at. And then you got guys like Austin Bryant, who I think is really a bubble player. Got one foot in the door, 1 foot out the door. A guy that came out of Clemson. Who kind of dropped in the draft because he had some injuries. I believe it was a pec injury. Who's a guy that he produced at Clemson. He produced a few years back. We ended up grabbing him a little bit late. I believe it was the 4th or 5th round. Don't quote me on that. But it's a guy that probably could have went a little bit earlier. But he's a guy that's suffered a ton of injuries. Hasn't really been able to stay too healthy for the Detroit Lions. He has, he has obviously played some games and he has shown a little bit of a burst, but he's a guy that, that I think is obviously a bubble player. I'm not going to get into his like what's going on with Austin Bryant right now, because this is a Romeo Okwara versus a Josh Pascal video. But my big question is who's going to be that third defensive end off the bench? Like, I think when it really matters, to give guys a rest, a rinse. It happens all the time. You need guys to come in and out, man. It's the NFL. It's a grind. It's grueling. We don't really know who's going to be that third guy off the bench. Now, key situations, obviously, you're going to have guys like, football is totally a situational game. It's very much a situational game. And Romeo Okwara and Joshua Pascal are two different totally defensive ends. Like, they're night and day. They're not similar whatsoever. Pascal's probably a little bit bigger, weight-wise anyways. Romeo's about 260. Romeo's about 260, and Pascal's almost 280. So there's probably about 20 pounds difference, maybe a little bit less here or there, a few pounds. But they play a different style of football. Now, like I said, football is situational. So if it's third and long, a third and 10, third and 8, you're probably going to have Romeo in there, right? You're going to have a Romeo in there, maybe even a Julian Okwara. We can even throw Julian into this mix, but I just kind of want to stick with Romeo and Joshua. I think, and then if it's like a second and 3, if it's a second and 3 or even a first and 10, you're going to have guys like Joshua Pascal, who I think is I'm not going to say Joshua Pascal is the better run defender because he hasn't even stepped onto an NFL field. Okay, but Romeo Okwara can play the run. He's not completely, he doesn't get completely blown out by offensive linemen when he's playing the run. He can actually play the run at a decent clip. He's not fantastic at it. He's more of a get to the quarterback type of guy. Quarterback pressures, quarterback hurries. He just, that's more his game. He's got an arsenal of moves. His story is fantastic, along with Joshua Pascal. They both got great stories too. That's why I kind of wanted to hit on this. Romeo Okwara being an undrafted free agent, played like 4 years at Notre Dame as a linebacker, and then 2 more years as a defensive end. Undrafted, Giants picked him up. Giants didn't know what to do with him. Could not produce any stats. Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn got their hands on this guy and turned him into a pretty good football player. He accumulated a whole ton of sacks, a bunch of tackles, and he got himself a new contract from this regime. So this regime, like, you can say, well, they're not married to him. Well, they are now because they paid for him. They could have let him walk, but they decided not to, which is a really good thing. But I actually love that they re-signed Romeo Okwara, but he's been a guy that's kind of been up and down. He'll have a good season, then a bad, and then a good season, and then he gets hurt, and he's been hurt a little bit. He's not injury prone whatsoever, but he's a guy that that's kind of been a little bit inconsistent, like good year, bad year, good year, bad year, kind of like that. In New York, he didn't have anything good going on over there, but in Detroit, that's how it's kind of been. So I really am interested to see how this camp battle goes, because I know Brad Holmes absolutely loved Pascal coming out in this draft. Dan Campbell, he must have been on board as well too, because these guys really don't do anything behind each other's back. They kind of share the same brain. I've kind of mentioned that before in podcasts and videos, and I'm not throwing any shade at all at these guys, but they're two guys that they're in sync. Mm-hmm. They're in sync, and Brad Holmes really wanted Pascal. Personally, I'm still going to say this. I think Pascal was a bit of a reach. I do like the way he plays football. He's a defensive end that plays the run at almost an elite level. It has a very good nose for the football. He uses his hands well. He uses his vision really well. He looks over O linemen. If you watch him on tape, he locks out his arms. He's a very sound and fundamental defensive end. He's a guy that's not going to get to the quarterback, though, like I've said. So if anybody's kind of wondering, oh, then this guy's going to come in and get 6-7 sacks, don't hold your breath on it. I don't think it's going to come down to stuff like that. But what I think is he's a very smart kid. Very smart kid, got good size to him, great strength to him. He's built really well down low, got legs, got the butt. He's just a strong kid. He's just a really strong kid and plays the run exceptionally well. I just don't think he's going to get to the quarterback much. The funny thing is, though, he gets into the backfield. He gets into the backfield like no other. He destroys and dismantles guards. That's what he does. Now, I don't want to make this, like I said before in my other camp battle, I don't want to make this just a one individual. Like, I'm not just talking about one individual stats or scouting report, but that's just kind of what Pascal is. He's a run-stuffing defensive end that could maybe even kick it inside at times too, especially during the run, especially on short downs, on 2nd and 2s, 2nd and 1s, goal line situations, trying to stop the running backs from getting past the LOS, past the line of scrimmage. That's what you really want to see. And Romeo is a guy coming off an injury, but can get to the quarterback at a pretty good pace. At a pretty solid pace. He just needs to be a little bit more consistent, I think. And he plays the run better than a lot of people think he does. He actually can play the run. He's not useless. He can get to the quarterback as well as stop a running back in the backfield, or just play the run at a pretty good clip. So I think it's going to be a really good camp battle coming into this season. Now both guys are banged up. There's rumors out there that Romeo could land on the PUP list. Pascal apparently re-aggravated that injury that he had last year at Kentucky, and he hurt his lower extremity. Don't really know. That's the Bill Belichick kind of way. Like, don't really know what his. I don't know if it was a foot, an ankle, a knee, but it was like lower extremity, and he missed his Citrus Bowl last year. He missed that. He missed that bowl game, so and I think he missed the Senior Bowl too as well, because I think he was invited to that, and he couldn't really participate. And he's missed some time at rookie camp, and he missed some time, the OTAs and those other small little mini camps. And Romeo hasn't done a thing, man. He hasn't practiced, and I don't know how he's going to be coming up in training. Training camp's right around the corner. So I'm kind of curious as to what goes on with him. But I think that's going to be a camp battle. You can even throw in Julian Okwara if you really want to, because I believe Romeo and Julian are the backups to Hutch and Harris. But then I think Pascal could creep in. Now, I am a betting man. I really do like to bet. Not a lot, but I do like to do the occasional bet here and there. If I was to make my prediction, and if all guys were healthy, I think I'd take Romeo. But it's, I think he brings a little more juice to the defensive end spot, to the defense alone. I think he brings a little more juice because I don't think he's a one-trick pony. I think he can get to the quarterback and he can play the run pretty good. Josh Pascal, I'm not throwing any shade on him, but I think he's more of a run-stuffing defensive end that can kick it inside every now and then, like I said. But he's not going to get to the quarterback. He's not going to cause a lot of pressure. That's a little bit what I'm worried about. He was a second-round pick. We drafted a second-round pick to basically play the run. That's basically what we did. I thought we could have waited on him, but those guys make the decision. They're much smarter than I am. It's just my opinion. And I guess you could, like I said earlier, throw Julian in the mix, but I think he's basically a one-trick pony. Julian can get to the quarterback. He does not play the run well at all, I don't think. I don't really like him in coverage at all either. I think he did have a pick last year. The ball was pretty much thrown right to him from what I can remember. But Julian could be a guy that, that might make some noise. He needs to get better at his craft, though. He needs to be a guy to get better at his craft. So coming up, training camp, I'm keeping an eye on Romeo Okwara and Josh Pascal. When both these guys are healthy, I think it's Romeo's job to lose. I really do. But Romeo could be on the PUP or the IR. I don't really know what's going on. And I think Pascal's coming back. I think he's coming back. As Dan Campbell said, he did re-aggravate that injury, but it's not as bad as some Lions fans believed that it was. I think he's just coming back earlier than expected, which is good. It's really good to hear stuff like that. But keep an eye on it, guys. I'm going to keep an eye on the Romeo OKWARA versus Josh Pascal. I think it's a real thing. And there's some guys in the bubble, but we'll talk about that later on. But Romeo versus Josh, who do you guys got? It's going to be interesting. But thanks for the video, guys. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the bottom right. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, get all my videos. And don't forget to like and comment. Who do you guys got right now? Romeo OKWARA, Joshua Pascal, the second round rookie that we drafted out of Kentucky. I think it could be an interesting battle, especially when Romeo's healthy. So that's it, guys. Thanks for the video. Thanks for paying attention. One pride, go Lions, let's go. Boom.